going live. Just hit OK real quick. And again, we're featuring faith, family, and entertainment right here in the community station. It gives you more. Time right now, I believe, is about 1:51. We're joined in the studio by Lisa Fraker, and today we're talking about how you can become a real estate agent and about some scholarship opportunities in the Harrisburg and Pennsylvania area. So without further ado, I present to some, introduce to others. Lisa, welcome to the studios of The Voice.
Thank you very much for having me. So, yes, my name is Lisa Fraker, and I'm with American Dreams Realty. I have two offices. One is in Duncannon, Marysville area, and I am just opening up my second office on Front Street in Harrisburg. And I just wanted to explain a little bit about our scholarship. It's a free scholarship for, how do they classify it, Elena? Is it like for minorities or diversity scholarships? It is a free scholarship to get your real estate license. You can work it full-time, part-time, and it's very flexible, and it's nice for maybe individuals who have to stay at home with their children. You can work it in your car. Sometimes my car becomes very cluttered because I show homes, and then I have things in my car, and then I have to do things with grandkids, and then I go back to my next appointment. So it's a very flexible schedule. So I want to talk a little bit about the scholarship. So like I said, it can be full-time, it can be part-time, depending on what your schedule's like. So the scholarship is offered by the Greater Harrisburg Association of Realtors, and the classes are offered in Enola. And I just wanted to explain what it is. There's two classes that you have to take. The one is a 30-hour class. The other is a 45-hour class, and it is on, I forget what are they, Elena? Fundamentals and practice. And you have to take both classes. You have to pass both classes, and then you take your state exam. They work with you a lot. You should speak pretty fluent English, but it's mostly geared towards what word did they use again? Diversity. So you can be from Hawaii, you could be from Mexico, you can be from Peru or Spain or wherever. And you have to write some sort of a resume, just explaining a little bit about yourself and how you think you can be good at sales. And you submit it, and every quarter they look over your resume, and they sort of have a vote on which is the best candidate to take the course. And then you get to start the class, and you take the test, and then they also pay for you to take the state exam. And then once you pass that, then you have a fee, an annual fee, which is also paid for in the scholarship. And then you get your state license, and hopefully you come on board with my office. And then at that point, we would train you to start selling real estate. Our office gives a lot of leads, but of course you can learn how to get your own leads as well. Some people like to door knock, but you don't have to do that. But your income is unlimited. Just so you know, I mean, you can work 20 hours a day, you can work 5 hours a day. Income is unlimited. Now, I have in my almost 30 years of real estate, I have accumulated rentals, which is a nice, also supplemental income. I have flipped homes on my own as a female. So any of you females or males, I know you can do it too, because I've learned along the way. So there's just so much you can do in real estate. I believe they've shared my website, so you can call me or text me if you have any questions. I also have other members on my team who also speak very fluently in English and Spanish, but it is very, very beneficial for you to be able to speak fluently in both languages, because you want to be able to work well with your clients. You can sell anywhere in the state of Pennsylvania, unless you decide you want to get licensed in other states, which you can be licensed. Maybe you live part-time in Florida and part-time in Pennsylvania, you can get licensed, but the scholarship is only good for Pennsylvania. So it's an absolute great opportunity. We have meetings at our office. Sometimes they're in person, sometimes they're in Zoom, so you're welcome to join some of our Zoom meetings just to educate on paperwork. There is a lot of paperwork, but it becomes very second nature after you've gone over it several times. You can YouTube anything that you have a question on, any of the paperwork, but I'm always available as well. But we do have classes at my office to learn all of the paperwork after you are licensed. We also have team members that you can work on teams once you're licensed, to go out on like listing appointments, how to write up contracts and sales. And again, it is, I absolutely love selling real estate. You don't have to have been in sales before, but you have to be someone that's not absolutely discouraged on every little thing. But you have to be somewhat of a highly motivated individual. If you're someone that gets discouraged very easy, that's probably not something probably want to venture into, because sometimes you can show someone 2 or 3 houses and then they disappear. Sometimes you can show one person a house and they buy right away. But those are things I teach you along the way, how to handle sales. Is there anything else that you want to add, Elena?
I wanted to add about the broker interview. That's something that you could do.
Okay.
For the scholarship.
Yeah. And yeah, I do the interviews for the scholarships. I help you write the scholarship up as far as writing up your invoice, your resume. I should say, I help you write your resume up. I have to do the interview. I sit down, I talk to you. But like I said, you can text me. Text is easier because I respond much quicker. If you have any questions, and like I said, you can sell anywhere in the state of Pennsylvania, as long as it's within the state of Pennsylvania. You can't sell like on the borderline of Pennsylvania or like up in Erie. It has to be within the state, because that's where you're licensed at. And the scholarship pays for everything until you get licensed in your first year of your Greater Harrisburg Association of Realtor, which provides all of your forms. What else are you thinking?
It says it's a $1,266.40 value, so that's kind of like winning the lottery right there.
Yeah, like $1,300, which includes all of your forms. I pay for your digital signing, which is super nice, because once you write up your contract, I pay for your electronic signature, which is, instead of writing up your contract, meeting with your buyer, having him sign everything, you just send it off to get it electronically signed, which I teach you all of that. You sign everything digitally. It comes back to you, and then you send it off to whoever the listing agent is, because there's always a listing agent and then there's a buyer's agent. So almost everything is done electronically, where back 30 years ago we had to drive all over the place. So which makes it super easy today, especially when you have family and you have a busy schedule. So it makes it super easy today. What else do you think?
When you were saying about other states, they could still refer it to an agent in another state and
Yeah.
make money that way.
So yeah, there's other opportunities, such as, let's say your aunt who lives next door has a home in Florida, and she says, can you help me sell my home in Florida? You might want to say, no, I can't help you, but I can find an agent in Florida to help you. So what you would do is you would get 25% of the listing side on the commission. So you get on a computer, you Google a listing agent, you get her connected with your aunt, and you get a certain commission on that side of the commission. So there's so many opportunities. You can also help maybe owners that have properties that are out there for rent, and you see for rent signs, which I know rentals are very scarce right now because there's a shortage of houses. But you can say to the owner, look, we can put it on the MLS, which is the system that all of the agents use, and you can help him get a very, very good tenant. They screen the tenants. We, as the agent, can get him a very handful of very good tenants. They screen them up front. All of that gets done on the internet, and you get the first month's rent from your tenant just for giving him, screening all of his tenants. They do background checks on them, and you can say to your tenant, look, we've got 5 really good tenants for you, and eliminates all the hard work for him, and you still get an income, which also maybe in the future he might say, hey, I want to list my rental. So that's how sometimes along the way you get clients, which is how you build your real estate business.
And the prospective tenants can become prospective buyers.
Yeah, once they decide they're tired of renting, you teach them how to build credit, which is something we also teach you, that I teach you as an agent, how to teach your tenants how to to build credit up. We work with our buyers how to build credit up, which is very simple, and a lot of people don't understand. You have to get a loan or some type of a mortgage or even a prepaid credit card from like Rite Aid, anything just to build your credit up. So I know a lot of times people don't like to get loans, but that's what you have to do to build up your credit. So that's
No, Lisa, with these diversity scholarships, now is there an age limit as far as how young or how old you could be to potentially qualify?
well, you do have to be at least 18 years of age. And as long as you can pass the test, you can be 90 years old and still looking for something to do part-time to keep yourself busy. Yep, at least 18 years of age. And that's the only restriction.
Now, the classes, are they online, or do you have to go in person to your office or to another facility?
You have to go to the Greater Harrisburg Association of Realtors, which is in Enola.
Yes, ma'am.
And there you can go to their website. They have weekend classes, and I think there's some day classes.
Okay.
And I just saw last week that there's some online classes.
Yes, ma'am.
That you can enroll in to take the course. And I know they give you like 3 times to take the test.
Yes, ma'am. So say if life gets busy and you miss a class, now can you make that class up, or does that disqualify you altogether if you can't make a class because life happens?
That is the discrepancy of the Greater Harrisburg Association of Realtors. So
Yes, ma'am.
I can't,
Understood.
yeah,
You have to have 80% attendance, that's the state mandates.
Okay, 80% attendance, understood. So they do give you a little leeway if life gets busy and something happens, you can't get a babysitter or a car breaks down. So it doesn't just totally disqualify you from graduating. The other question I had, why is it that a broker in PA cannot sell property in, say, New Jersey or Baltimore? Why are those stoppers in place? I never really understood that. So if you could help me and our listening audience understand that, if you have the answer to that question.
Well, I know the only thing that you really have to do, so there's a national test that you have to take, which is, isn't it like 250 questions for the national and like 30 for the state?
Yes, ma'am.
Because every state has their own laws. So when you take the national is good for every state in Pennsylvania.
Yes, ma'am.
So when you go to another state, the only thing you have to do is take the state part, which is 30 questions for each state because they have their own independent laws.
Okay.
So I have a gentleman right now coming from Texas. So all he has to do is take the Pennsylvania state law test and he's good in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And that's all he had to do. So whatever state you want to practice in,
Yes, ma'am.
you just have to take the state part.
Okay. Now, what was the out-of-pocket cost? I know you said there was a big significant savings by taking advantage of this offer now. But is there any out-of-pocket expenses initially, or maybe even further down the line, that our listeners and viewers may be need to be made aware of?
The first year, you would have like a $40 a month if you should choose to join what we call the Bright, the MLS, which is where every realtor puts their listings.
Yes, ma'am.
And if that is a huge issue, that's something that I can work out with them.
Sure.
And probably take care of upon their first sale. But I have like 3 or 4 lead generation programs that I help them with, giving them leads the day they're licensed and they start. So I have a lot of lead generating programs that I start them with. And if that is a concern, I generally try to help them out with that until they have their first sale.
Sure, understood. Now, how soon after you graduate can you start showing and selling houses?
I would say usually about 3 weeks.
Okay. So
As soon as you pass it for the exam and pass it.
Well, you have to upload all of your information into PALS until you actually get licensed with the state and get a license number for the state.
Okay. Now, do you guys do like a shadow,
Absolutely.
so just after I graduate, you're just not throwing me out there and say, go do it. I can actually maybe, I don't know how you would pick a broker to follow. How
They
would that
would,
process work?
they work with me, they could work with Elena or anyone, let's say, and I encourage them that as they're getting licensed and working on this, they need to be keeping in the back of their head, if you're driving down the street and you see a for sale by owner,
Yes, ma'am.
call me and say, go after this for sale by owner. Or they need to say, knock on the door and say, can we set up an appointment with my broker? Because this is potential income for them.
Sure.
And, if we list it, we can list it together and they can sit with me and I can show them how to do the presentation.
Sure.
And when it sells, we just hold the income for when they're licensed. So they need to be proactive if they want to have income producing coming in right away.
Sure.
Talk to people. They just can't sell anything, do anything, but they need to be proactive if they want to have money coming in right away.
Understood. Now, how has becoming a broker allowed you more flexibility than a regular 9 to 5? Has it allowed you a little more flexibility than saying being chained to a time clock, that most Americans are?
I've never been a 9 to 5. I've always been an entrepreneur all my
Okay,
life. So
understood.
I like the flexibility. Even though people say I work all the time,
Sure.
I'm okay with
But you
that.
can choose to do that or choose not to work as many hours if you choose to
Correct,
do
yeah.
that as well.
Even when I'm on vacation or, I have a home in Florida that I go to, I still work like
Yes,
9 to
ma'am.
2 every day.
Sure.
But I just enjoy my job so much. I love it. I love helping people. Even if it's a $20,000 home or a $500,000 home, I just love to help people find their first home.
Sure.
So it doesn't matter what the value of their home is.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
just them having their own home, no matter what price range it is. I just love to see their faces and how they feel when they own their own home.
Wow.
And even though, I always tell everyone their first home may not be your dream home,
Yes, ma'am.
but it's the first step in building extra value.
That's good.
So maybe you might buy, whether it be a mobile home, they may buy it, pay it off, and then in 3 years, they're calling me saying, I want to sell this, take my $20,000, $30,000 out and buy something bigger. And that's the dream of building equity, buying up. And that's what I did. My first home was $29,000. It wasn't my dream home, but I was just happy that someone helped me out to buy it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, on average, you may not have the exact answer to this question. On average, like for a new seller, they just graduated. It's 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, a month later. What is the success rate for those individuals that have graduated to stay being a real estate broker and even move on up? Is there other levels past being a broker?
They can form teams. So let's say you want to develop your own team. You can grow to like maybe have 100% commission of your
Okay.
sales, and maybe you can talk a few friends into joining your team, and you can develop leads for them, and they go out and sell for you. You make all the commission, and then you designate whatever portion of the sale you want to give to them. So there's always a portion, a percentage. Well, they can form their own team.
Yes, ma'am.
They can always go out and form their own brokerage firm. They can always buy a chain of American Dreams Realty. So there's always room to grow. There's always more sales that they can grow depending on how hungry they are. But
Yes, ma'am.
you also have to have a very positive attitude,
That's good.
because if 2 deals fall, you'll get 2 more
Sure.
calls the next day.
That's good.
Now, if I may interject,
Please.
you come in as a salesperson, and then after 3 years and roughly 40 sales and a lot of classes, then you can sit for your broker exam.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, did you want to share with our listeners and viewers what the website is and how they can actually take a look at the specifications and the qualifications for the scholarships? Where can they be found online?
Do they offer that? I'm not sure if it's actually listed on the Greater Harrisburg Association of Realtors.
Yes, ma'am.
Under education.
Okay, under the Greater Harrisburg Association of Realtors, under scholarships, or they may text me and I can email them over the information. The papers that you would need to fill out, I can email it over, or they can go to the Greater Harrisburg Association of Realtors. And even, maybe you want to start right away. You don't have to wait for the scholarship as well, because I think every quarter they review them, and maybe you just want to start right away and not wait for 3 months. The cost is about $1,200 if you don't want to wait for the scholarship, and maybe you just want to start before they do the quarterly review. They select 2 every quarter, and then if you're not chosen on the first quarter, you can resubmit for a second time within, I believe it's 3 years, is it? You can submit a second time within 3 years if you're not selected the first time.
Understood. If you had to put a finger as we get ready to bring our interview to a close on one of the most rewarding experiences that you have had, past or present as a broker, you can, say the names or protect the innocent, but one of the most rewarding experiences of being a broker in your own estimation.
The most rewarding is just finding a home. And like I said, it doesn't matter if it's 20,000 or 500,000, the price just doesn't matter to me.
Sure.
It's just finding somebody a home to call a home, which is why, I call it American Dreams Realty. It's the dream of finding a home and the smile that it puts on their face that they can call it their own home.
Now, just real quick, in conclusion, I don't know if Ms. Elena had some questions in closing today. Now, how long have you been a broker?
A broker?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh gosh, maybe 15 years, but I've been a realtor for about 30.
Oh, okay. Now, what got you interested in wanting to become a realtor and broker?
I've always enjoyed sales. Pretty much from the time I've been in high school, I was always the top sales for things. Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. Now, Ms. Elena, did you have any more follow-up questions that you wanted to ask Lisa?
With the 4th of July coming on Tuesday, I didn't know if you wanted to mention, I think we're still the only agency in the area that participates in Homes for Heroes. That was a major selling point for me when I came over.
So our office is a Homes for Heroes agent. So we do give back 1% cash back. And I always seem to forget one, like if you are a police officer, an EMS, a veteran, whether you were 4 years in the service or retired, if you are in the education field, any type of education. And what is the other one? I always forget one.
Medical.
And in the medical field, yes, any type in the medical field, which is called the Homes for Heroes, and we're the only one that is centrally in the central Pennsylvania area that's registered for the Homes for Heroes program. You get 1% cash back.
Now, before we ask you your contact information and Lena with her final questions, what are some of the, say maybe 2 or 3 of some of the benefits of being a homeowner versus just renting for the rest of your life, your own estimation?
You can bring your puppy in, you can bring 5 puppies in, you can bring 5 cats.
Sure.
And nobody's going to tell you they're going to charge you an extra $50 per
Yes, ma'am.
pet.
Yes, that's important.
You can paint your walls purple. They're not
something
going
to
to
show
increase
for it
your
at the end
rent.
of
Yeah,
the
you're not
year.
going to increase your rent. And I don't know if this holds true, but
Yes, ma'am.
I say like almost every 15 years, like it seems like your property doubles in value. I don't know how true
Wow.
that is,
Wow.
but it just
Wow.
seems
Yes, ma'am.
like that's what has happened.
We're probably not making any more property, probably.
Very few. Well, there's a lot of building going on, but
A lot of building, but
you know,
sure.
I would say, and I can't tell you when, but but everyone knows how the increase in property has gone in the last 5 years. I had a lot of rentals, and when the increase in value had gone up in the last 5 years, I sold 10 of my rentals, and almost all of them doubled.
Okay.
So I thought now is the time to sell a bunch of them, and like almost all of them doubled.
Sure.
It doesn't happen when you rent.
Wow. Now, what's the difference between a hard market and a soft market?
I sell all the time, so I'm always working. I sort of program my days as to what I'm going to do for this amount of hours,
Yes,
and So I program my days, how I'm gonna work it, so I can't say that I've ever had bad times. So this is my job, this is my job, this is my only income.
Understood.
So I work it all the time. So I can't wait for a bad time.
Now, do you got to spend a majority of your time in the field, or can you spend a lot of your time at home behind the computer, or a combination of both?
A combination of both,
Okay.
yes.
Did you have anything else for Lisa? Later?
No, I mean, I think back to what you had asked about when you first get started, it's 100% what you put into it. I mean, if you work really hard, then you're going to see results. If you don't, then it's just like anything else. Would you agree with
I
that?
remember when I first started, I had a goal for myself because I had 3 young daughters and I did not want to miss any of their school events and the volunteering in their classroom. So I knew I had to make this work. So I had a goal of like once a week, I used to enroll in every newspaper publication. Every week I would drive around. I don't care if it was one end of the state to the other. I made it a goal of mine to find 5 for sale by owners once a week. Every newspaper publication that came out every week, that was my goal every week. And I called and called. I was on Craigslist. Well, now it's Marketplace too, but like I just worked it every week, and I've been successful, and that's what I still do. And now, we have other lead generation programs. I have the Homes for Heroes. So that's how I made it, but I was determined, and I'm still here 30 years later.
Fantastic. Now, one more quick question just came to my mind. We recently looked at a house on Fox Mill Road, past Ollie's, and there were several brokers showing the same home. Is that something that is the normal, or is it normal just to work with one broker when selling a home?
You work with one broker when you're selling a home, but it probably had a lot of showings,
Okay.
and competing offers are happens all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
But eventually you'll get a home, and you just have to know how to give your best offer. There's little tricks, which I'm not going to give,
Sure, understood.
but I sort of coach my agents how to be wicked.
Understood.
Got to get in there and get the deal.
Yes, ma'am. Understood. So before we give out her contact information, did you want to share anything else, Elaine, in conclusion?
Just when we were talking in the office when Pastor was there about, like if you're maybe afraid to start the classes or afraid to sit for the exam, what your experience was when your daughters were little, and
That's what I said. Like I made it a goal of mine.
but before you even sat for the exam and when you were studying and
When I came home the first night, I was absolutely petrified. I'm like, my kids were very small. I came home, I started reading, and I thought, I will never, ever pass this. I struggled through it. I think when you took the class, you needed a 70 to pass in the class. Like I got a 71.
Wow.
And of course, I didn't have a lot of time to study because I had 3 young kids.
Sure.
I think my second one was 78. And the second class is easier because it builds off of the first one, but I was petrified. But I also was determined that I remember one time I heard on the radio that there was an attorney who took the law exam 250 times, and on his 251st time he passed it. I thought, if he can do it, I can do it. So before I went in to take the state exam, I studied and studied and studied, and I passed the first time. So you have to be determined, which is what it's about.
Okay, so in conclusion, so find the camera button here. So in conclusion, Lisa, why don't you give our listeners and viewers one more time, share with them the websites that the information about American Dreams Realty is available, and also the website the scholarships are available on, and then share with us the contact information you're comfortable sharing with our listeners and viewers in conclusion, please, and thank you.
It's American Dreams Realty, and that is in Duncannon. It should come up as Duncannon. And like I said, I also have a office I'm opening up in Front Street in Harrisburg that's looking directly on the river. And the scholarship is Greater Harrisburg Association of Realtor under scholarships. And again, my name is Lisa Fraker. My cell phone, which is my direct contact that you can always reach me, is 717-350-2771. That is 717-350-2771. And if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks.
Reach out to American Dreams Realty LLC, again, serving all of central Pennsylvania. Again, the office number is 717-855-5553. Or again, you can check them out online at www.americandreamsrealestate.com, or just email her today at lisa@americanrealestate.com. Getting older here. Again, they're making memories one home at a time. So again, thank you for tuning in. And again, please like and share this broadcast, and you'll be glad you did. And we'll see you next week with Pastor Moises Fernandez and special guests right here on Speaking the Truth. Good night and God bless. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Wonderful job.